There's a moment in every challenge when we feel the urge to react, to panic, to lash out, to run. And in that moment, we have a choice. We can let the situation control us, or we can take control of how we respond. The people who remain unshaken in the face of adversity don't have fewer problems. They have a different approach to them. They see clearly while others get lost in the fog. First, they focus on what they can control. Because the truth is, chaos doesn't come from the situation itself, it comes from how we perceive it. The moment we ask, what's the next best step, instead of spiraling into worst-case scenarios, we regain our footing. Second, they understand the power of perspective. Imagine this. Two people face the same setback. One says, why is this happening to me? The other asks, what can I learn from this? One is a victim, the other is in control. The difference isn't in the event, it's in the mindset. Third, they master their physiology. Think about the last time you felt anxious. Your breath was shallow, your shoulders tense. Now picture a leader walking into a room, calm, upright, composed. Which version of yourself do you want to be? By controlling our breathing and posture, we send a message to our mind, I've got this. Fourth, they don't do it alone. Strength isn't found in isolation, it's built in community. The people who remain strong in any storm have a tribe. They have people who remind them of who they are when they forget. And finally, they are anchored by something deeper than the moment. When you have a purpose, when you know why you're doing what you do, no setback can shake you. The storm may rage, but you remain standing. So the next time you face uncertainty, pause, breathe, ask yourself, what's the next best step? Who can I lean on? And most importantly, why does this matter? Because those who stay calm and unshakable don't do so by accident, they do so by choice. There's a fundamental truth about life that most people overlook. Chaos is not the situation itself, but how we perceive it. Two people can face the exact same challenge. One remains composed while the other falls apart. Why? It's not luck, it's not genetics, it's the ability to filter out what they can't control and focus entirely on what they can. The difference between those who crumble under pressure and those who stand firm is clarity. Think about the last time you felt overwhelmed. Maybe it was an unexpected setback, a difficult conversation, or a moment where everything seemed to go wrong at once. What happened? Your mind probably started racing. You played out 100 scenarios, most of them worst case. Your heart pounded, your breath got shallow, and suddenly you were drowning. Not in the situation itself, but in your reaction to it. That's what chaos does. It makes everything feel bigger, heavier, and more urgent than it actually is. But the most composed and unshakable people, those who seem to navigate even the worst storms with calm certainty, do something different. They stop, they take a breath, and they ask themselves a simple but powerful question. What is the next best step? Not 10 steps ahead, not what might go wrong tomorrow, not what they wish had happened instead, just the next best step. This shift in thinking is what separates clarity from chaos. Because the moment we stop trying to control what we can't and instead focus on what we can, we regain power. We stop reacting emotionally and start acting intentionally. And when we act with intention, fear loses its grip. History has shown this over and over again. The best leaders, the most resilient individuals, and the people who have faced the most unimaginable challenges all have one thing in common. They do not allow themselves to be consumed by uncertainty. They don't waste energy on things outside their control, whether that's people's opinions, unexpected setbacks, or even the outcome of their efforts. Instead, they lock in on what they can do and they take action. Consider a firefighter running into a burning building. If they stopped to worry about what might happen, they'd freeze. If they hesitated, fear would take over. But instead, they rely on training. They focus only on the next step. Clear the hallway, check the door, move forward, and that's what gets them through. The same principle applies to everyday life. The moment we stop obsessing over outcomes and start focusing on what's directly in front of us, we gain control of our emotions, our decisions, and our ability to move forward. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, pause, breathe, then ask yourself, what is the next best step? Because that's the only thing that truly matters. And the ones who master this are the ones who remain unshakable no matter what life throws their way. There are two ways to view any challenge: as something happening to us or something happening for us. The difference is perspective. It's easy to feel like a victim when things don't go our way, a job loss, a failed relationship, an unexpected obstacle. It all seems unfair in the moment. But perspective is what separates those who crumble from those who rise. The most unshakable people are not the ones who avoid adversity, but the ones who redefine it. Imagine two people experiencing the exact same setback. One spirals into self-doubt and frustration, questioning why life is so unfair. The other takes a breath, steps back, and asks, what can I learn from this? One stays stuck in the problem, the other looks for a path forward. It's not that the situation is different. It's that one person controls their response while the other lets the moment control them. In high-pressure situations, our brains instinctively focus on what's wrong. It's a survival mechanism. Our ancestors needed to spot threats to stay alive, so our minds are wired to fixate on danger. But what kept us alive in the past can keep us stuck in the present. If we only see problems, we miss opportunities. If we only see failures, we miss lessons. The strongest people understand this. They train their minds to see possibility where others see defeat. Think about some of the most successful and resilient people in history. Almost every one of them faced rejection, failure, or adversity at some point, but instead of seeing those moments as proof they weren't good enough, they treated them as feedback. They adjusted, refined, and grew. What if we did the same? What if we treated every obstacle as a teacher instead of an enemy? What if, instead of saying, this is unfair, we said, this is shaping me? Perspective isn't about denying reality, it's about choosing how we interpret it. It's about recognizing that no situation is inherently good or bad, it's how we frame it that matters. The setback we experience today might be the very thing that leads to something better tomorrow. The rejection that feels painful now might be redirecting us towards something greater. But we only see that if we're willing to shift our perspective. This isn't just about big life events, it's about everyday moments. A stressful situation at work, a conflict with a friend, an unexpected change in plans. How we choose to see these moments determines how much power they have over us. When we react emotionally, we give away control. When we pause, reframe, and focus on what we can gain from the experience, we take it back. So the next time something doesn't go as planned, stop and ask yourself, what else could this mean? What might this be teaching me? How can I use this to grow? Because the people who stay calm and unshakable in any situation aren't the ones who avoid challenges, they're the ones who see them differently. There is an undeniable connection between the mind and the body. When we feel anxious, our heart races, our muscles tense, and our breath becomes shallow. When we feel confident, we stand taller, breathe deeper, and move with purpose. Most people believe that emotions control the body, but the truth is the body also controls emotions. This means that in any high-pressure situation, we have a choice. We can let our body react to stress, or we can take control of our physiology to shift our state of mind. Think about the last time you were nervous before an important conversation or a decision. Your hands might have felt cold, your stomach uneasy, maybe your shoulders tightened and your breathing became rapid. That's the body reacting to perceived danger, even when there's no real threat. In moments like these, most people try to change their thoughts. But that's difficult when your body is already in fight or flight mode. Instead, the fastest way to regain calm and confidence is to change your body. Start with your breath. When we are anxious, our breathing becomes shallow, which signals to the brain that something is wrong. But the moment we take slow, deep breaths, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, the brain receives a new signal, I am safe. This simple shift slows the heart rate, reduces stress hormones, and brings clarity to the mind. Every high performer, from elite athletes to military leaders, uses breath control to stay focused under pressure. It's one of the most powerful tools we have, yet most people overlook it. Posture is just as important. When we slouch, hunch our shoulders, or keep our eyes down, we feel weaker. But when we stand tall, lift our chin, and open our chest, we instantly feel more capable. Research shows that simply adjusting posture can lower stress hormones and increase confidence. Before stepping into any stressful situation, take a moment to check your stance. Are you shrinking or are you expanding? The way you carry yourself affects not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. Even tone of voice plays a role. People who panic speak quickly and with a higher pitch, but those who remain calm and unshakable slow down, lower their tone, and articulate their words with intention. This isn't about faking confidence. It's about training the body to reflect the state of mind we want to have. The more we practice this, the more natural it becomes. The key is consistency. We don't wait until a crisis hits to practice breathing, posture, or controlled speech. We build these habits daily so that when pressure comes, we instinctively respond with control. Those who remain steady in any situation aren't born that way. They train their bodies to support their minds. And once we understand this, we realize that staying calm isn't just about mental strength. It's about using the body as a tool to create the state of mind we need to handle anything. No one succeeds alone. No one remains strong by themselves. The idea that true strength comes from independence is a myth. The people who stay calm and unshakable in any situation don't do so because they have all the answers. They do so because they have the right people around them. They understand that resilience isn't built in isolation. It's built in community. Think about a time when you felt overwhelmed. Maybe you were dealing with a personal struggle, a professional setback, or a moment of doubt that made you question everything. Now think about what helped you get through it. Was it sheer willpower, or was it a conversation with someone who reminded you of your strength? A mentor, a friend, a teammate, someone who saw in you what you couldn't see in yourself at that moment. So that's the power of having a strong support system. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who try to carry everything on their own. They are the ones who have built a trusted circle, people they can turn to when they need perspective, guidance, or simply a reminder that they're not alone. They know that when pressure mounts, their ability to stay composed isn't just about their own mindset. It's about the people they surround themselves with. There's a reason why elite teams, whether in business, sports, or the military, function at such a high level. It's not because they never experience stress or setbacks. It's because in those moments they lean on each other. They communicate. They ask for help. They offer support. They don't see vulnerability as weakness. They see it as strength. And that's what allows them to operate with clarity under pressure. But not all relationships build resilience. Some drain it. This is why it's critical to be intentional about who we let into our inner circle. Are the people around us lifting us up or pulling us down? Do they encourage growth or do they feed negativity? When we surround ourselves with those who believe in us, challenge us, and hold us accountable, we develop the confidence to handle any challenge. This doesn't mean we need a large group. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. A handful of trusted people can make all the difference. The key is to nurture these relationships before we need them. We can't expect support in difficult times if we haven't invested in those connections during the good times. The best relationships are built on reciprocity. When we show up for others, they show up for us. So when pressure comes, when stress rises, and when things feel uncertain, we don't have to go through it alone. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who stand apart. They are the ones who stand together. And when we build a strong tribe, we become unshakable, not just because of our own strength, but because we have people who will remind us of it when we forget. The most unshakable people in the world are not the ones who avoid stress, pressure, or adversity. They are the ones who have something deeper anchoring them, something stronger than any challenge they might face. That anchor is a clear why, a purpose so deeply rooted that no storm can uproot them. Without it, even small obstacles feel overwhelming. With it, even the biggest challenges become fuel for growth. Think about a tree in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain pounds, but the tree stands firm. Why? Because its roots run deep. On the surface, it may bend, it may lose a few branches, but it does not fall. The same is true for people who are driven by purpose. They don't break under pressure because they know why they are standing in the first place. When we lack a clear purpose, uncertainty shakes us. The moment things go wrong, we start questioning everything. Our abilities, our choices, even our worth. We react emotionally and fear takes over. But when we are connected to a strong why, setbacks don't weaken us. They remind us why we must keep going. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, we ask, how does this fit into the bigger picture? That shift in thinking changes everything. Purpose provides clarity. It helps us make decisions with confidence because we're no longer basing them on short-term comfort, but on long-term vision. The most resilient individuals don't get caught up in temporary difficulties because they are playing a bigger game. When we know our why, distractions lose their power. We stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. We stop worrying about people's opinions. We stop letting fear dictate our actions. Instead, we move with intention. History is filled with people who refused to be shaken because their why was stronger than their obstacles. Inventors who failed hundreds of times but kept pushing forward. Leaders who faced rejection after rejection but stayed committed. Athletes, artists, and entrepreneurs who endured criticism, setbacks, and doubt but never wavered. They weren't immune to struggle. They simply had a purpose that kept them going. But here's the truth. Purpose isn't something we stumble upon. It's something we define. It's a decision we make about what matters to us. Some people find it in their work, some in their families, some in a cause greater than themselves. What matters isn't what the why is, it's that we have one. Because when we do, we become unshakable. So the next time you face a challenge, don't just look at the obstacle, look beyond it. Remind yourself why you started, why this matters, why you must keep going. Because when your purpose is clear, no storm can knock you down. The winds may blow, the waves may rise, but you will stand firm. Not because life is easy, but because you know exactly why you refuse to give up.